Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to Optoverse Academy course. I am thrilled to have you all join us for this free introductory session of our course named as Bringing Science to Light, How AI Demystifies Research Papers. Hope it will be an insightful journey into understanding how artificial intelligence can unlock the vast wealth of knowledge contained in research. In an age where scientific advancement happen faster than ever, research papers often serve as the primary source of new insights. But for many, navigating through the technical jargon and complex data of academic papers can feel like a daunting task. That's where AI comes in, with tools that can break down complex studies, uncover key findings, and even assist in your own research. AI is transforming how we interact with scientific knowledge. Today's session will introduce you to some of the core concepts of using AI to make research more accessible. We will explore how AI-driven tools can simplify, analyze, and even visualize the data, making complex ideas approachable and applicable in real-world scenarios. Though it's an introductory session, and regarding the course, we'll reveal slowly in this today's session. So let's start today's journey of AI. I'd like to call our first speaker, Dr. Rizwana Hussein. Over to you, ma'am.
Thanks, SK. I think you rightly mentioned about how in the constant evolution of science, we need to stay updated. Okay, so that's the whole idea of today. And thanks to everyone that have joined. Definitely you will enjoy today's session because it's very, very different from whatever you've been attending so far, the conventional technical optometry vision science stuff. Okay. So what we are going to look at is how we are going to apply the AI related tools in evidence-based practice in optometry. Okay, so if you see my presentation, it was made through AI, and through in the course we will teach you as how you can make such empowering presentations, while you can integrate both science and advancements in technology and AI for your own, not just updating yourself, but to present yourself as someone that's well informed in the optometry community. Okay. And because we are all in healthcare, whether we're optometrists or we are not optometrists, because we are all in healthcare, I think it's important that we understand what is evidence-based practice. Okay. Evidence-based practice is something that's crucial for us to ensure that we serve our patients not just only with the best of our intentions, but definitely with the best of scientific tools that's available to us. Okay, so with that, today's session is going to introduce evidence-based practice in optometry. What is evidence-based practice? Evidence-based practice is nothing but, as you see in this picture here, we are bringing in everything that's available in research, the best of evidence, and we should know what are the patient values and our clinical experience. In general, if you ask any clinician, okay, why do you prescribe this classes or why do you do this management? They immediately say based on my experience. That's the only thing they say. How many of us really say based on the recent published evidence? Or how many of us say that based on the patient values that I have taken this decision in my clinical practice? So evidence-based practice is where we integrate not just our experience, the evidence, and also the core ethical values of what is important to the patient. And that's what is EBP all about. And in EBP, in terms of healthcare, it started as early as 1970s, and it's become increasingly important in optometry in the recent years. And it will help us to optimize patient care by using scientific findings so that we can not just become better researchers, but definitely better clinicians. Now, how are we going to apply artificial intelligence in evidence-based practice? Okay, so in this course that we are going to discuss, which even in the next mini workshop that Dr. Gopi will take you through, there are these artificial intelligence powered tools. The moment we say artificial intelligence, all we know is ChatGPT. We are not just talking about generative AI such as ChatGPT, but there are multiple other AI powered tools that we can use to effectively synthesize and analyze a large amount of data that is out there, okay, not just on Google. Like you want to find out the management for dry eye, management for myopia. There is so much. You go search, so much comes. If we can empower ourselves to use some of these tools, it can synthesize the available evidence and it will help us to stay updated with latest findings. Second, every decision that you make is not just based on experience, because this AI tool is now going to summarize everything and it's going to give you based on the evidence. Then you can make more informed, confident choices that will then support your decision making as such. Okay. And so every treatment option that you suggest is now based on evidence. And that is the whole idea of leveraging the power of AI. Because if we have to do the same thing that the AI does, it is going to take us weeks and months for us to really sit and learn. But now AI has made it really possible. Okay. So, as we just discussed, evidence based practice in optometry will help us make better clinical decisions. It will help us improve patient care and it will help us to stay updated. And if you literally see all of this, it will then help us to become not just optometrists that are well informed, but recognized in the community as such. Okay. Now, how are we going to use AI in our practice? Some examples for you. First, let's say that you want to do your Google search. Okay. We no longer do Google search for healthcare related searches. Okay. We have to either do what we call as PubMed, Medline, or scholar based search, because we are all in healthcare. But through AI, now this process has become even more automated. Okay. Second thing is, let's say you want to talk to a patient about forecasting the progression of diabetic retinopathy or progression of myopia or the likelihood of complications, let's say in progressive myopia. There are definitely a lot of predictive algorithms that are available through AI that can help you make those choices. The third thing is clinical guidelines. There are multiple clinical guidelines available for every specific condition. Now, through these tools, you can summarize all of these guidelines in no time, and then it will help you to stay updated. Okay. I'm going to give you some specific examples for that matter. Let's say myopia. Now, your patient with, I'll show you a quick case example also. A parent brings a child to you, okay, and then says, this myopia has been progressing. And all of us know that there are multiple treatment options for myopia, be it multifocal contact lenses, orthokeratology, low dose atropine drops, novel optical designs for myopia control. But when you use these AI tools, it will you cannot just predict the progression of myopia, the risk factors for myopia. You can show those graphs to the patient and the parent, but it will also give you personalized treatment recommendations. Now, using literature review, through the summary that you get through the AI, you really know, like, okay, for this particular patient, what is the best treatment strategy? So this is what we are referring to as evidence-based practice. Let's say dry eyes, another common condition that we will see day in and day out in our clinical practice. Multiple options are there available. Artificial tears, multiple omega-3 supplements, lid hygiene, punctal plugs. Again, you can use the power of AI to choose what matters the most or what should be recommended for the patient. Diabetic retinopathy. We all know machine learning, Google algorithms are existing for almost a decade for us to grade the severity of diabetic retinopathy if you upload an image. But right now, what does evidence say with respect to now making a referral for this particular patient? And this is how you bring evidence-based practice and artificial intelligence in optometry. Okay. Challenges of implementing evidence-based. Why is that scientific literature-based management has not become so popular in optometry community? Number one, super heavy workloads, right? Patients or academia or research, whatever it is, we are all like having a very typical job, which then limits our ability to go and then do or upgrade ourselves with what is the latest available evidence, unless we are part of a community that talks about evidence on a regular basis. Second, we think that research is so complicated. It is very difficult to read a scientific article. It's very difficult to understand. It's going to take me more hours, more time. No, guys, that's not any more relevant. And that is the reason why we don't even go near science and scientific articles and literature review. The third thing is, when it comes to meeting the patient expectations, The patient comes with certain expectations, you have your experience, research says something. Now we think it's really too complex and complicated to put all of this together, and that is why we've never been able to bring evidence based practice into our clinical practice. Okay, but there are solutions to challenges because everything is automated now in AI. Like there is no need for you to sit and do all of the job, which probably last year or 2 years back, until about 2 years back, we were all doing. Number one is to not automatize the task, as I just told, but there are AI driven clinical decision support systems. Of course, we are not going to deal this in detail in this course, but we are going to, of course, show you literature that will then help you also use the available tools which will help you with decision making. For example, this is an article published in Nature on deep learning algorithms that predict diabetic retinopathy. So you upload the image, and then it, depending on all of the machine learning that the Google has already done with the storehouse of images it has, it's going to grade, and it's going to tell you what's the probability, what's the forecast, and what's the grading, right? And that is how, the data sets, large data sets that are already fed into these systems, including patient records and literature review available throughout that entire cosmic, the web space. It's going to AI is going to bring all of that to our availability. Okay. Now, this is going to save a lot of time for us. Second important thing with AI is why, it's not gained so much popularity. Still, we are struggling with a lot of automatization. Is that, is it really credible? Is the answer given by ChatGPT always correct? No, it's not correct. There has to be a validation of the information, and that is when we are going to teach you and train you about specific tools. Then developing skills in critical appraisal. It's not just you put some tool and then you get something out and then you start. You need to know what exactly to do to get the right thing out, and that's exactly the part of training. Then you become part of a professional network, and then that helps you to implement evidence based practice. Okay, how do I even start very very small, like for example enrolling in the course, learning those tiny little steps, incorporating it on a daily basis, and the moment you start it as a habit, it just becomes a part of your practice. And continuous learning, it's become very very imperative for all of us in healthcare. And when we start introducing AI tools, there is a confidence that will come into the way that you manage patients, because now you know that it is not just your experience, but you're using a lot of evidence. And then the way that you educate your patients with that confidence, with that AI assisted communication tools, you really will know the impact that you are creating in terms of the rapport that you develop with your patient. And that is the whole beauty of evidence based practice. Like for example, okay, Sarah, a 10-year-old diagnosed with myopia, is being brought to you for myopia management. Now, what you can do is that with the tools that we will teach you and demonstrate, you can use those tools to then find out what are all the available treatment options and what is the most efficacious scientifically for Sarah. Okay, for her family history, for the level of progression that she's got, what is the most appropriate treatment option? And then someone that's used evidence based practice, for example, will know that, when the myopia progression has slowed down or whatever it is, we know that we've done the right thing to the patient, not just, go with whatever that's the market strategy is all about, but we've used an evidence based practice. So when you use evidence based practice, you can then make changes or adjustments based on the findings, depending on how the progression is being controlled. And this sort of an approach always, it gives you a lot of confidence in terms of being able to integrate evidence and eminence in terms of managing your patient. Okay. So just to conclude and hand it over to Dr. Gopi, whatever we are going to do through this mini course basically is something that will revolutionize the way that you look at science, the way you start looking at scientific articles, and the way that it will become super easy for you to integrate evidence based practice. I think that's the whole idea. And to understand that evidence based practice is the most important thing for delivering high quality patient care, and how we can integrate that to personalize the patient care. So that's the whole idea of this course. And optometrists are definitely encouraged to adopt EBP as a cornerstone of our practice. And whether you like it or not, artificial intelligence is the future, and in evidence-based practice. So you learn it today, or you wait until it becomes inevitable for you to then go and learn it. So it holds a lot of great promise for optometry and healthcare as such. Okay. Now there are a lot of resources for ongoing learning, whether you want to enroll in this course or not. But if you want to stay updated with evidence-based practice and artificial intelligence-based applications, then definitely follow these websites, AO, AOA, RO, and there are a lot of other webinars that as part of the United Optometry Forum that we will be doing. And these all will help you to understand how you can integrate evidence-based practice and AI uh, in your clinical practice. Okay. And yes, for those of you who want to stay ahead of the curve, it's important that you understand that AI continues to advance and reshape healthcare. And if you embrace evidence-based practice and if you're going to leverage AI tools, then you're best positioned to deliver the best and highest quality of care to your patients. Okay. And then you stay ahead of the curve. With this, I hand it over to Dr. Gopi to demonstrate some of the just to give a mini demonstration of the AI tools, and then we will take it from there. Over to you, Dr. Gopi.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rizwan. Am I audible and clear?
Yes, you are.
Yeah. So, welcome everyone for this introductory session. As Dr. Rizwana and Mr. Swarna Kumar mentioned, this course is mainly designed to improve your clinical care, to put a seed towards your research activity, as well as to keep yourself updated. So let me share my screen. So as Dr. Rizwana was mentioning about EBP, evidence-based practice, and things, there is a very important aspect which you should know before even you start what is evidence-based practice. That is formation of your research question from your clinical care or from your daily activities, what you see. One second, give me a second. Just presenting it. Yeah. Yes. So before you even you start your evidence-based practice, there is something called uh, you should know what is the thing you are going to search for, and the well-informed or well-developed format for searching a research question is the PCOR format, which I will tell you in subsequent slides. To develop these, you need not be a clinical, like a core researcher or a scientist. Uh, so I see many of you are clinical optometrists practicing day to day, and that's your major responsibility as a clinician. So from your clinical questions, like from the patient, what they ask, or if you want to know something, what is recently happening, that's when you develop a research questions. And a PICO is a small format where you put in your research questions and developed as a searchable question. So if I go to the next slide, so PICO stands for P stands for the population or a patient, I for the intervention, C is for comparison, O is outcome, and time is the time frame which you search or which you look for as an evidence. So basically, what as Dr. Rizwan was mentioning, some examples are like myopia control. That's the boom right now, like or dry disease or something on glaucoma management or co-management. So if you take a patient population as a myopia patient, and maybe let's design like the intervention to be treatment. So usual current treatments are like myopia control glasses or something like the atropine treatment under the supervision of ophthalmologist, or it can be multifocal contact lenses. So you name it, there are multiple options. And comparison being the traditional methods, or like we call traditional methods, I mean like avoid more of in outdoor activities or avoid near activities. And we know the outcome being that we should need a the myopia should not be progress. That's the outcome we are expecting. And the time frame, maybe within a year or 6 months. So be it you get a patient and the parents asking, okay, I want to know which is the best available myopia control lenses, and you are looking for some evidences. You try to put in your research question in this PCOT format, and then that's when you start searching for you start it as a developing as a research question, and then you have tools like so as I will go to the platform where I want to search. So usually we go to Google and then search whatever the question you want to ask. So I'm directly going to another platform called PubMed, where you get the best available evidences in terms of articles, case reports, systematic reviews, and other form of literatures. So if you go to PubMed and maybe the same question I'm going to ask for, don't worry, I'm going to some technical aspects which you will learn through the coursework if you register. I'm going to search for myopia and control and maybe spectacle lenses. Let's see what it gives. It's a simple PubMed search. It gives me around 578 articles, something on control of myopia, risk benefits of myopia control, spectacle lenses. So you have an option of filtering it like best match or most recent, whichever as per publication date. You have an option of reducing it to last 5 years or last 1 year. So you do this, but it is a time consuming work where you have to go through each and every paper, at least the abstract to understand, and getting all the best possible articles in this scenario is going to be very tricky and difficult. So that's when some of the artificial tools, intelligent tools are going to be helpful. So be you know research or not, but as a clinician, you are supposed to know how to formulate a research question. That's when you can search for the best evidence. So without knowing what you want to search for, it's going to be difficult. So once you find the research question, then you put it in the PCOT format, which I showed it earlier, and then take out the keywords and then search in the PubMed. So that's then the traditional way of searching. But there are tools, like I just wanted to introduce one key tool today that is called Research Rabbit. If I go to the next tab, so you can see here, this is the interface of Research Rabbit. I'm going to go for a new collection, say like this is United or Optometry Forum session. I'm going to search it like that. So go there and go there to United Optometry Forum, and I'm going to add papers. So it is asking for add papers. I'm going to add papers and say that myopia keywords like myopia control, spectacle lenses, and controls, and give a search. It is giving me two options like biomedicals on life sciences powered by PubMed, and all subject areas powered by Semantic Scholar. Let's stick to powered by PubMed. And it says no results. Okay, let's search only myopia control lenses. And it is searching in the PubMed. It takes a minute or so. So by the time it search for yeah, so it is giving some papers. It says 1 year myopia control efficacy of spectacle lenses with aspherical lenslets, spectacle lenses with aspherical lenses. Again, some are randomized control trials. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, okay, add to collection. That's my uh, that's when I keep adding papers. Maybe I will restrict to maybe recent papers like 2022. Again, another paper on 2022. There are papers about bifocal and multifocal contact lenses. I'm going to add that. Okay, let's add only three of this paper. and I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to close this. So if you see, all the three papers are added here, and then I'm going to go to select all. You have options like earlier work, later work. So why I'm going to, I just look here. I'm going to search for later works, and it is going to give me all the papers published after 2020 and 2023. So this is an excellent tool where you keep mining or keep looking for new data, new papers, and then you can, if you select all this paper again, and then you can add it to the uh, new to your collection. And after you complete this, you will have like enough papers. So I'm going to go to this place once again. Yeah. So there are good number of papers selected now, and you have option like you can export these papers as CSV file. Let me export it as CSV file and show you. So once you export it as CSV file, and it says, okay, it's an Research Rabbit export. I'm going to save it. If I go to that paper and Excel sheet and then open, it is going to show me all the papers with the title and year of publication with some abstract. So you, instead of searching here and getting difficulty in how to enter your keywords, what Boolean characters you are supposed to use, and these things are literally difficult, and it needs a lot of practice and time consuming aspects. So if you go to Research Rabbit, a platform like Research Rabbit, where you just enter keywords without without thinking any other things, and it starts mining all the papers, and it's, research rabbit hole is like ever ending, and you can keep looking for new evidences, new papers, all those things. So that's how research rabbit works. So I just thought, you once you have a research question, should know pcot how to search for, and then formulate your question, traditional way of searching in PubMed, and how effective is the AI tool. One simple tool is Research Rabbit, where you can pull down all the papers with respect to your research or whatever you want to look for. So further reading it as a paper is going to be another step. So I'm going to stop sharing here, and then over to you, Dr. Rizwana, so that uh, I will explain about the entire coursework maybe once we take up some questions, if you have anything in the chat box. Over to you, the team, Mr. Swarnakamal and Jabin.
There
Do
are
we have any
only,
questions?
yeah, there is, I think there is only one question. So, so in the methodology, can we document this? That is the question.
No, so you mean how you searched for?
I think so. So in the
Whether
methodology,
you
can we
use the
document?
yeah,
How
whether
about
you
search
have used
string?
the AI technology. Okay. So far, for academia aspect, I think it is not well accepted with respect to if it is a master thesis or a PhD thesis. Not many people go with the traditional way, but still, believe me, for my PhD thesis, when I started writing in 2021 or 22, I used Research Rabbit to write up my entire literature review, and I did not use it in terms of writing it. I did not say, okay, explicitly express that I used Research Rabbit for my literature review, but I used it as a secondary data so that I do not want to miss any data, any literature available. That's the reason I used Research Rabbit. So to give a clear answer, academically, we may not be able to say that, okay, I used AI tools for identifying research papers, but for clinical practice and evidence-based practice, and to back you with all the best available evidences, yes, you can use it.
Jabin, can you take one more question from the chat box?
Yeah. Um, I have a question to Dr. Gopi. Can I use this information provided by AI research in presentations and conferences?
Definitely. So that's what you are going to learn from the coursework, and we are going to train you or help you with the methods of extracting the key information from the literature search you have done, and then use it while forming or use it while developing your research question and formulating your presentation for conferences and any other scientific forum when you present. So, you have any points on this, Dr. Rizwana?
Yeah. So, like, for example, you all saw the presentation I made today, right? So it was completely generated through AI tools. So the outline, after we write the outline for everything that we want, then we can use tools like ChatGPT, PubMed, Google Scholar. But ChatGPT, if we know how to give prompts, then we will exactly sort of can summarize the literature. Of course, summarize, get the outline, and then use Research Rabbit and the other tools that we will cover in the course to get specific summaries of the topic that we want to present. And then once this outline is created, which should take us like 30 minutes, we put that into again available softwares and then to generate the outline. Okay, to generate the entire presentation. And this will be super different from the conventional PowerPoints that we are super used to, very boring. But AI generated ones. All that's important is this outline that you create, because they can't just create presentations from nowhere. You have to give them an outline, give them proper prompts, and that is where the validation of information is important. Now, how to validate the information? That's exactly what we will cover, as which tools to use to validate, how to get the summary, then how to plug that summary into the softwares, how to generate then beautiful presentations for both your in-house hospital presentations, clinic presentations, patient presentations, as well as in conference. Yeah.
I have a question to Dr. Rizwana. You said this will be very helpful for research and conferences, but how about my clinical practice?
Right. Yeah, so evidence-based practice, exactly. So in my talk, I covered about evidence-based practice, right? So for example, myopia control. We know that there are algorithms that will help us to predict the progression of myopia, like the myopia calculators. Multiple calculators are available at the moment. Those are nothing but artificial intelligence. But also, in terms of, let's say you want to treat a 10-year-old who's got certain risk factors, and then myopia. And yes, because we are all staying ahead already, like UOF conducting a lot of myopia based sessions, we know there are tools available for myopia control. I can use this design and I can use this. It's not that we don't know, but in terms of evidence based practice, again, looking at the way like we are the tools we are going to show you, it will really summarize like why are we even actually advocating for, let's say, orthokeratology. Why am I actually even saying orthokeratology? How do I understand that scientific information? How do I convey that to the patient and the parent? That's exactly where these tools then come. So where you can do specific search using specific keywords, like Gopi told the PCOT model or whatever, like how to generate that, how to use it, and then how you convey that information to your patient. Again, that's again is possible in no time. You don't have to go do your PubMed, read article after article. In 5 minutes, you go to one tool, put the question in, get the summary out, and then you talk about that. Say, tell the parent, based on all of the research evidence available, there is 67% success rates with this particular tool, whereas with this particular tool there is 50%. But then these are the cost factor differences, this is the reliability, and all that you're now speaking not just from something, you're speaking from the compiled evidence that the tool is going to give you.
That was my next question, actually. I am using all this AI tool, but how I'm going to convince the parent or the patient that I'm using evidence-based practice for their benefit, for their better treatment?
It's really a great question. Again, Dr. Gopi can add once I just say, like, for example, in my presentation, I showed, like, I'll quickly go back to that particular slide. So, for example, one second. Yeah, so I showed this, right? The diabetic retinopathy algorithm, for example. And we all know there are machine learning algorithms to predict or to grade diabetic retinopathy. But now, when I use my AI tool, AI-based research or algorithms to now get some of these images, and then you have to show these images to the patient and the or like the stakeholder that you are conversing with, and where you are saying, what, based on the recent available compiled evidence, this is exactly the management that I'm going to propose, and this is based on all of the available evidences. And then the way you present it, the summary that these tools will give you. This is just one example of image I'm showing you from an article, but the summary of article and the map as how it just generates, okay, and then you just use that, and then you show them saying, like, this is the available evidence, and then though they understand or not understand, but it sort of creates more trust in you, saying that you're not just speaking from whatever, like, your experience, but yes, there's also available science backup based on which you are trying to propose the management. Gopi, over to you.
Yeah, so I'll just add upon from there. Like most of the patients or the parents come to your clinic nowadays, go to use the Google God to know what it is, what is available, and they just want to give you more gyan. They'll come with you, okay, they'll ask what was done here and something was done. So recently I had one patient who have retinopathy, like sorry, RP, and he has gone through all the websites available talking about some stem cell therapy US is people are doing and things. So I had to make him understand that whatever you're seeing are from testimonials and they are not really evidence-based aspects. And that took me time to get some papers. Like I had to go to PubMed and search for the papers and articles. But recently, again, another for my one of my another patient where I quickly used some of the tools, AI tools, I could immediately get within a minute, I got the best available evidence. And then I pulled out that paper and explained to the same parent who had good lot of Wikipedia information and things. So I told him those things are anyone can write, and this is the available evidence of, and this is the best practice thing. And the patient had a better trust in fact, and so that develops a trust as well as your confidence on. So as it is a way of practice, so initially you will have difficulty in formulating research question and searching in regular databases, but this AI tool just randomly you type in the most important pertinent keywords. It is going to the algorithm is in such a way it is going to pull out the key paper and give it as a summary that you can use it in your clinical practice. So it is going to be reliable as well as convincing the patient, though you are going to will be using a companion for your clinical evidence making or best practices.
Thank you, Dr. Gopi, for so nicely explaining everything. So my question is that, like we explain about so many tools today, and also in our main course we'll be showing more tools. But what is the cost of these tools? Like, is it a paid one, or always there is a free version always available of every tools, or how we'll approach on that?
Yeah, so very handful of tools are free ones because when they launch, they don't want they want to people to use it, and then as the popularity increases and they gain more visibility, then they start making subscription mode. Uh, so we will be able to provide with the book the either the paid one as well as the non-paid ones. But advantages in the paid ones are the in terms of it is nothing different. The if you are able to get 4 papers in non-paid version, you might be able to get 10 papers in a single search. That's the difference it's going to be. So if you are a full-time hardcore clinician, or if you are in academia setup, and you feel okay, this or any one of the tools are going to be helpful, then you pay and get it. And we are not going to vouch for any specific tools. This is going to be better, and it's all customizable and depends on your need. We will try to give you all the best possible tools specific to optometry and healthcare professionals. And depend as an individual, you decide, okay, you want it as a paid version or a non-paid version.
So I believe like in the main course, which will having a module 1, 2, 3, which will happen soon in our Optoverse Academy. So in that course, we can give our audience a list of tools, like which are free tools available, and it's also a list of paid tools also available that we can give to our audience, I think.
Yeah, yeah.
How many hours will be allocating for the courses? That we do know.
So we are planning each. So it's going to be 3 modules. Maybe I will let me share my screen and present it. I'll do that, right?
Yeah, I think that's better. Yeah, show the 3 module details and
Yeah, then we can come back to the question session.
come back to the questions. Yeah.
Yeah. So this course is mainly designed to support optometrists and more pertaining to optometrists, but even any healthcare professionals to make the ease of using EBP, that is evidence-based practice. And we have designed it in three modules. So it starts from the first module where we will give you the information on how important is evidence-based practice in your clinical setup to improve your clinical outcomes. So it will be much more advanced than what we discussed today, not just the practice management and the clinical expertise and the evidence base. So you have seen the Venn diagram which Dr. Rizwana showed. It is going to be much more better than that. And what are the tools in terms of AI and EBP can be work together to elicit better papers. And so we will also give the modern AI tools for simplifying and interpreting your scientific literature. I mean, so you have the literature, you have created the scientific question, you have searched in the AI tool, but you do not know to interpret or summarize it in a proper way. So there are like 3,000 words paper and you wanted to provide it in a 3 to 4 lines or in a single paragraph, there are tools which is going to do that. So we will introduce with those tools, and that can help reduce a lot of time and reduce the burden of reading and in front of patient as well. And and this module is planned for maybe 1.5 hours of time. The second module is going to be the session tool is going to be how you are going to summarize the key takeaways and how it is going to be translated in a clinical application to interpret and apply in your scientific findings. So be it it is going to help in mainly summarizing your entire article. That again, it is planned for maybe 1 to 1.5 hours of time. And the last module, that is going to be a session 3, where we are going to help you with. So you have a research question, you have searched for the findings, and you have identified the key findings, and you want to put it in a proper, nice presentation so that you are able to express into a larger audience, be it at a conference or to convince your parents or patients or a ophthalmologist and hospital administration, how well we are supposed to structure the presentation, and some of the practical tips which is going to help and boost your confidence with respect to public speaking, and how to simplify some complex information and speak confidently in front of your colleagues or peers, especially the research findings. So this is again going to be maybe 1 to 1.5 hours of time. So together we are planning it to a max of 3 to 4 hours, the entire module 1, 2, and 3. And over to you, Mr. Swarnakumar.
Yeah, really exciting actually. It's very well designed course, I would say. So we'll come back to this question session. We can go through the one question from Ayush. He's saying sir, I want to ask how to find research topics. They need to search, I think. What do you have to go?
I was expecting that. Before that, I'll just add something to Dr. Gopi, what he said, like the three modules, and each of the module will also have activities, which means you will be asked to do certain things like hands-on practice. So at the end, you yourself will equip, you'll know, okay, I can handle this in my practice in conference presentation. Okay. So that's also something that we will do as part of the training. And the question from Ayush, like, how do I find research question? Yes, like, how do I even start doing research? That is when we develop the researcher mindset. We start becoming first curious about everything, not just act as clinicians, but we all know doing research is possible in every practice. You don't have to be in a research oriented institution or an academic institution with research setup and infrastructure to do research. In every place, you can write case reports. That's all research. You can write systematic review and meta analysis articles. For that, nothing is required. So that is what is all about, breaking this myth that doing research is very difficult. So by enrolling, by learning skills like doing literature review, constantly engaging with your even patients and your ophthalmologist and fellow optometrist from the researcher mindset perspective, you yourself will start getting some research questions. Okay, nobody can give you a research question. Research question has to come from you based on your passion. And by developing that mindset, the curiosity, the skill set, it will naturally then come to you. Over to you, Gopi, if you can add. Yeah.
Uh, so, uh, so I think most of the aspects Dr. Rizwan has mentioned. And if I want to add, if you are in a full-time clinical practice, then every day you will get at least 5 to 10 research questions, and which are be it a case report, or it can be even a case series or a cross-sectional study. You want to observe for a larger patterns and distribution of similar findings. So, your research activities or research questions are going to be evolved during your clinical practice. That's the key aspect I wanted to tell.
Question from me. Can I use this AI tool to do my master's or my PhDs? Dr. Rizwana?
See, this is
Or
not
Dr.
a re
Gopi?
yeah. This is, see, all the AI tools are not going to replace. That's what Dr. Zwana mentioned in the earlier, like when starting the session. This is not going to replace your basic skill, which is like searching for literature and writing, and even writing your thesis. This is going to be an extra point where it is going to reduce some time, not completely replace a human being. Remember that. So it is going to helpful for thesis writing, but not completely. If you go to any AI platform, it will say there are mistakes are expected. You, as a human, you are supposed to recheck it and then validate the results. So if you do not know the basic skill of searching for a so I'm talking only with respect to thesis writing and master's PhD level, not for a regular clinician. So in that aspect, if you do not know the basic skills of searching for literature and uh, putting up in writing in your own way, and then maybe when you once you write and maybe 50-60%, then you can go with the AI tool and then ask it to refine it and then look for grammar and things. Otherwise, AI will not replace you completing masters and thesis. Anything from Dr. Swana?
Yeah. See, the future of master's, PhD, or any research in optometry is nothing is going to happen without AI. Okay, let's understand that first. Like, we are not going to every work in academia There is going to be the use of generative AI, and all of us know that. So earlier, thesis work or research work, there used to be the plagiarism check. Like whenever we submit a thesis, it is put inside the software and they check if it's original work, if it's been copy pasted from somewhere, and that's like the standard. And right now, even those plagiarism checker has evolved to find out if the content has been generated by AI or if it is human, written by a human. Okay. But still, there is a leeway that is given in a sense. You can still use generative AI, you can still use your chat GPT or whatever. The percentage allowance is given for even master's work and PhD work, because all of us in academia and research know that without the tools of AI, there is nothing that is we are going to do. Now, whatever that took us hours earlier, even statistical analysis for that matter, you can, with the help of AI, you don't have to indulge or do like 24 hours of statistics course. You can in no time use AI to do the same statistics and write your thesis and paper. Again, doing a literature review and summarizing. That's the whole idea of this course. So even in your practice, if you start using these tools in smaller ways, let's say write one case report and publish it, write a mini review article and publish it, automatically your confidence will elevate, knowing that, you know what, like I have these tools and I can still do research. And then when you jump in and do your masters, it will literally be like, like a lot of struggles that you generally face when these tools were not available, it's been considerably reduced. But we are not taking away the impact or the importance of our own curiosity and the level of effort that we need to put from our end, because we own the idea, we own the topic, right? We are only going to use these tools to lessen the effort, or instead of going to a statistician, going to an expert, whatever it is. Now there are tools available that we can use, and we don't have to learn again 100 hours. We don't need training for 100 hours. And that's exactly the whole purpose of AI.
Yeah, 100% agree with Dr. Jona that machine cannot replace the human beings because we made the machine. That is true. So one interesting questions from Nijam. With AI-driven tools now automating tasks like literature review, decision support, and data analysis, how should healthcare professionals balance AI recommended insights with clinical intuition and experience? Should there be established limits on AI autonomy in patient care? And how do we ensure this system remain transparent and accountable? Over to Dr. John and Dr. Bhupi.
I think that's what the entire coursework is designed for. So we are planning to share you with how good it is and what exactly you are supposed to take. See, remember all the AI platforms are going to summarize whatever we are going planning to give you during the coursework. The platforms are designed to summarize what you give as input. So it is going to extract the results from the PDFs or the articles you are going to give. And 80 to 90% of the time, the data, whatever the information provided is okay or fine. Just from my experience, I'm sharing. Still, maybe 5 to 10%, it needs a supervision. Like you have to go back and then look for the correct it for if there are any mistake. But almost 90% of the time, whatever summarizing the AI tool does from the literature, uh, like tools available, it is fine. And one more thing I wanted to add is that the tools which we are going to share during the coursework all are being validated, in the sense I have used it extensively and came to a consensus that, and I have shared it with my students, peer students, where I work as a faculty, and most of the time it gives excellent results, and it is reliable and useful. It's not like if you go to chat GPT or any generative AI earlier, maybe 5 to 6 months, maybe an year back, you ask for something and you also ask for give me references. It randomly gives some reference which is not even available as evidence. We are not going to give you. We are not asking you to go through those aspects. We are going to give you some AI tools specifically designed for literature review, and those tools are going to be reliable, and it is actually learning, and it is reliable as well. So we have used it extensively. Only those tools which are fine and reliable we are going to share during the coursework. What do you, Dr.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The autonomy of AI is like, see, there is so much research on whether AI is going to replace us. I mean, it's all happening, right? So it's important that to understand, yeah, AI is nothing but it is all the inputs that we are giving, and every search we are doing with AI, it's collecting information, and then it's learning. It's learning through the searches that we are doing with the AI. Okay, so the autonomy is to understand what is the ethicality and the boundaries that we need to know when we use AI. Like as Dr. Gopi mentioned, you can't use ChatGPT for everything. If you really see ChatGPT at the end, it will say that, all the, please check the validity of the information, that I'm not right all the time. You know, and then you will really know that sometimes the information it gives is really like it's not correct. So, how to use AI tools in itself is a skill. Yeah, you cannot escape from the AI tools taking over. So if you don't learn it, you will then remain obsolete. You will remain outdated. You will now be called illiterate because you don't know how to use it. But now just knowing just to type in ChatGPT, then do I become an AI literate person? No. You should know the ethicality. You should know when AI can go wrong. And that is when we validate already the tools and then we give you those tools. Now I have to really make something like, emphasize something here. These are the tools, like Gopi said, 6 months, right? That is the speed with which tools are coming out. So today we'll talk about a tool, and next year, when we run the same course, we might talk about another tool that's better than this. Okay, this tool might have become outdated. So this is not like your retinoscopy remaining gold standard for 100 years now. That's not the case we are talking about here. It is just so dynamically evolving, and even the same tool is now gaining a lot more capabilities. Some tools are just, sort of just going back. So in the sense, like, to know how to use, when to use, what features to look for, and then what is the boundaries based on which you need to apply AI. And all of that literacy is very important. And that's exactly what we will cover in the introductory, this course, basically, through the 3 modules.
I have a question from Ms. Nanda. Actually, little worrying question from her. If new researchers start using this, will not it make them lose the knowledge as they are just reading what AI is giving them instead of doing a deep research on their own, making them very dependable on AI?
Yeah, I'll touch this and then Dr. Gopi can take over. We are talking about someone that doesn't even want to go do any search at all to start, right? There are some of us who doesn't have any time to go and actually do any search for that matter. If you're already an established researcher, you already have a backup, and then you're going to use this as an additional tool. But there are some of us who are so scared and who doesn't even want to enter into that arena, thinking that doing a literature review or reading an article is very scary. Now we are talking about how to simplify that and how to remove that myth and that fear and making it accessible for everybody, right? And so making certain things accessible to everyone doesn't I think it's inevitable. Now you can either stay like this where you can continuously, constantly like remain in fear and not wanting to search, or you can use these tools, and these tools then will increase your curiosity. So at some point you will go to PubMed. At some point you will go to some of these actual base, and then you will start increasing your literature review skills and all of that. So it's not that you're going to completely shut your brain down. But it's a very interesting aspect she mentioned. Now, how many of us remember phone numbers now that we remembered 5 years back? Because everything is now, it's all saved. So, of course, there is an impact of the advancements on technology on our memory. How many of us type everything full text? How many of we all start using SMS languages? So there are certain impact of advancements onto the brain, the cognition, everything that we do, which is something again is again unavoidable. You have to still develop other skill sets to ensure that the humane in you still remains humane. The curiosity, the creativity remains. Yeah. Over to you, Dr. Gopi.
I think you have clearly mentioned. I don't have any points on this. Do you have any other questions?
Della Pijo from she is asking for academia there is a restrictions and regulations to use AI tools. So what we can do for that?
I
If
think
there is some
he,
restrictions and regulations to use AI tool in some academic.
yeah, I think he mentions about public when it comes to publication and things like even if you go to the high reputed journals like Nature and be it our site clinical experimental optometry or most of the journals in top tier journals, they are asking for whether you have used the AI platform, what for what purpose you have used. You have to explicitly say that okay, I've used so and so AI platform to proofread or grammar check or to improve the text. So those has to be mentioned earlier. Otherwise, it becomes ethically issue. So I think it is acceptable, as Dr. Rizwana mentioned, to some extent it is acceptable in academia, so we cannot avoid it. And even journals and publisher are accepting the fact that these tools are actually improving, not improving the quality of papers they receive and the time they take to again proofread, and then the rejection rates are going to get reduced. If for non-speaking, like non-English speaking country people, these tools are really helpful. In fact, it is going to reduce the grammar errors and things. So for academia, I think it is well accepted to some extent, and you are supposed to tell, okay, you use this particular platform for doing these modifications, and that has to be mentioned in the disclosure while you submit the manuscript. Do you have any points, ma'am?
Yeah, that's exactly the current status. It might again evolve, we don't know. And these AI tools have a very interesting role to play when we want to do meta-analysis, systematic review, and large-scale data reviews, because some of the summaries and the maps and the compilations that these generate are very helpful for us to start the work. Okay, so they are becoming acceptable. Again, writing the paper is our job, and there is a percentage allowance, and that's again the awareness that we need to have. But these tools exist for the very reason that it simplifies the task and it can be used. So yeah.
There is one question that's saying that AI tools having any security issue, like any application having any security issue. I don't know which kind of security he's asking.
Uh, yeah, so there are issues on that in the sense for searching literature, I don't think there is a problem. So if you want to give in a keyword and then search, but I would not recommend you to just whatever you have found as results and then paste it in the some platform and then give me analysis and do these things and things like because it is an generative AI and it learns from the data which you give. It takes the data, learns and then relearns and then build it from the information whatever you give. So any sensitive information with respect to results or key aspects, I would recommend to use the settings which is already there are preset settings where you can inform the generative AI. It can be ChatGPT or Gemini from Google. You can inform the platform, say, okay, I don't want you to remember my searches and information I'm providing, so that you can avoid the security breach to some extent. But once you and give some data in the internet cloud basis, it is open and it is going to use it for further analysis. Someone similarly search for similar information what you have searched, it is going to compare with it and it will give a better answer. So in terms of writing manuscript, yes, there are some security issues. I think people are evolving on that, and Google will come up with a lot of security aspects with that. But for searching literature, I don't think any problem is there. Over to you, Dr. Zwana.
See, again, if, no, nothing is, how secure are we with our phones? It's hearing us all the time, right? our data has the data breach is like, yeah, we try to incorporate as much as security possible. So this is part and parcel of, again, the technology and its invasiveness into our privacies. Because I'm in an academic setup, like we use ChatGPT, Gemini, Copilot. We use all of the AI tools to even set question papers, to set exam papers, correct answer sheets. Okay, you put the students' answer sheets inside, develop much more objective evaluation models, because it does better work than human beings that are some biased and stuff like that. So, what is expected, how to grade. And of course, for literature review, for conference presentations, it's very, 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 very well established in academic setups right now. Okay, so let's understand that yes, there are tools that are certified, and security setups, depending on, like, you don't put your full data set that you collected for your PhD inside the chat GPT. You need to, like, know, okay, I use it for generating graphs, or I use it as an adjunct to SPSS to generate certain tables. Again, how to do that is how we also, like, okay, people like Dr. Gopi then help you. Because earlier you have to go to a statistician and pay a huge amount of money to then do that same statistics, or you have to learn SPSS and other complicated tools to do that analysis. But now GPT is helping you to do that. So that is the take here. Okay. But the privacy, nobody's going to take your data and run away with your data. Of course, if you're working with something for a patent, of course, you don't put it inside that thing. So it depends on what you are also handling, right? And that's important. And how are these tools learning? It is through all the information we are giving it. Through every information everybody else give, we are getting better iteration. So it's all learning through everything. And then recently there was this post that was going on, like, nowadays AI can tell you who you are based on all the search you do. Okay, so you can go to ChatGPT and then say, based on all the search I've done over the last year, can you define me? Can you describe me? And it is going to tell you, like, you are an academic geek, probably a professor, So it is going to actually tell you and define you. Even Google search, for that matter, like, depending on all of the interest. Like, I've been searching about a specific actor, a specific movie genre, a specific music genre, and then some science genre. It's going to tell you, this is your life, this is your biography, this is who you are. So you're not escaping from anything for that matter. I think it's about becoming literate and aware of what's happening rather than remaining unaware of what's happening. Otherwise, it's going to swallow you no matter what.
That's great. I 100% agree with you, Dr. Joanna and Dr. Gopi. There is one question from Della Vijay again. Great information. Could you please share some AI tools for research writing? You already answered for this one, but I think the paid course will be showing so many other tools, which is a free course, free tools, and also paid tools. Regarding the courses, maybe we can announce here also. We already shared the link in the chat box. That is the paid course link. You can go through this one. 3 modules are there. And today we're having a flash 25 discount code. If you use this one, this will be active for 24 hours only. And especially for this introductory session. So you can use this one and you can get 25% discount on the code. And obviously for our EOF premium members, they can use EOF 50 code for 50% discount. So we can go back to the question answer session. I think almost we covered all. How AI tools
Yes, it was
enhance
well
research
answered. Everything was covered.
or everything almost covered. If
All
anything not,
queries were answered very nicely by Dr. Vijaya and Dr. Gopi.
yeah, I think everything is covered. If anything not answered, we can send them email directly because we have all the data.
Yeah, and we have two
Anything
or
more
three
you want
members
to
who
add?
couldn't join with us. Ms. Ukti Shah, of course, the US timings, and then Mr. Fakhruddin Baradawala in Malaysia. So there are 4 of us here that are building up this whole thing from different backgrounds. So we bring the value of uh, the corporate background, the academic background, the research background, a clinical background. So we bring all of it together, and that's again the value that this team brings. But yes, this recording will be, I think we're going to be circulating this recording, right, SK and Jabi?
We can circulate
Yes.
this recording with the registration. I think we had around 350 registration, so we can circulate to everyone so that
Correct.
who
And then we
missed
can
our
wait
webinar.
for them, yeah. So to share also with the known colleagues, and then we can wait for people to listen to it and get back if they have more queries, and then we'll take it from there. Yeah, open to any further queries. Even before registering the course, any other queries, please feel free to reach out to us. Yeah.
I think there is a relevant question like when is the start date of the course? So that I think we can answer like we can give this approximately start date after 2 weeks or 3 weeks like this, right?
Yeah, most likely in 2, 3 weeks, depending on, yeah, like a holiday season. If it begins and everybody disappears, then before that we can start. Yeah, and then it will be spaced out on a very convenient basis. So you have time to do the assignments and then come back and yeah.
Yeah. And if somehow they miss the courses, like after paying the course, they will, if they miss the courses, we'll send them the recording also, and they can
Yes,
submit the assignment also in personal inbox.
exactly. Yes.
That's good. I think we can finish the panel here, and we can go for the quiz session. Thank you, Dr. John and Dr. Gopi.
Thank you.
You want to
Thank you
add
so
anything
much.
extra for this courses or anything you want to add?
No, we are
Or
good. I think we
that's
covered everything. Anything, Dr.
Yeah.
Gopi?
Yeah.
No, no, nothing.
yeah. So for the quiz session, I'll share the QR code. You can scan the QR code and you'll be landing to the quiz page. I can share the link also in the chat box. Yeah, I already shared the quiz link in the chat box. So you can access the quiz page. There are total 15 questions and total 10 minutes time. So if you did not complete or submit your form within 10 minutes, it will automatically submit it. And from one computer, you can submit only one time. You can see the QR code in the screen as well. You can scan the QR code and you can access the quiz page as well. The exciting news is that we'll be announcing three winners, and will be announced, I think, tomorrow 2 p.m. You can come back to our website www.uf.world, and you will find in the homepage itself three winners' name, who will be awarded with three IPOMEC conference ticket. You know, IPOMEC is the like one of the biggest conference in Middle East, so which is happening on 5th, 6th, and 7th December in Dubai. So we can give this ticket free of cost to three optometrists who will be the winners of this quiz session. I think that's all. And regarding this courses, obviously you can go through this one and you can register for these courses in UAE. From my personal experience, I would say if you search in PubMed or any other media, you will not find that many research paper submitted, because research is very much minimal in this country, in UAE especially. So it will be initiative for UF to motivate all our colleagues to go for research work and literature review and all, so that they can participate in the conference and more academically they can be strong, which will be good for their career. So that's all. Thank you, Dr. Joanna and Dr. Gopi and Javin Jafar, and thank you all our audience. for joining this course. We'll be sending you the recording version of these courses, the recording version of this introductory session. And also we'll send you the link for the registration if anybody interested to go for the paid courses, which will be more advanced in nature, and we'll be having hands-on workshop, and also assignment. So many other things will be there in the paid courses, obviously. So we'll be sharing the link as well. Okay. Thank you for joining. Good night, everyone.
Thank you, Team UF. Good night. Thank you, everybody. Thank you,
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Leslie.
Good
Okay,
night.
bye.